Hi there friends, welcome back. In the earlier videos, we understood the entire concept of cost. Total cost, average cost, marginal cost, right? Fixed cost, variable cost. So we saw all the different types of cost. Now let us talk of revenue. See, revenue means avak. In Gujarati I can write avak, right? So see, in any capitalistic market structure, the main objective of production is to maximize profit. Right? That is why anybody will do business. Therefore, the concept of production is to maximize profit. Therefore, the concept of revenue becomes very important. When total revenue of a firm is higher than total cost, profit accrues. Meaning something like this. Let us say revenue, that is the income. Revenue means the income, and cost is the expense, right? In normal terms, we have income and expenses, right? And then we have profit and we have loss, right? Now, so if the revenue is 100, the cost is 90. See, revenue is more than the cost. Then we can say profit occurs. And let's say revenue is 100 and cost to make it is 110. So in this case, cost is more. So in this case, loss will occur. So if total revenue is lower than total cost, loss occurs. This is mainly in the long run, right? In the long run, we just see total revenue, total cost. But while analyzing profit in the short run, in the short period of time, weekly, monthly, the concept of average revenue, marginal revenue, they are also used. So let us understand these three concepts. We'll see total revenue, marginal revenue, and average revenue. So total revenue means by selling of the produced units, money which is received by the firm is known as revenue. So total income received by the firm from sale of its n number of units is called total revenue. So we can call it total revenue, we can also call it sales revenue. Now this total income which the firm gets is based on two things: price per unit and the total sales of the units, number of units sold. Price per unit and number of units sold. Now see, it's very important to understand what type of products you are going to sell. Let's take an example of a Maruti car and a Ferrari. Both companies want to make profits. Maruti wants to make profits. Let's say Maruti 800 or Alto, right? Maruti Alto 800, the basic car, entry level car. And let's talk of a Ferrari. Now we know Ferrari is costly. Maruti Alto is the cheapest car available in the market. Both companies want to make profit, but they have a different approach. Maruti will go for more sales. Right? Maruti will try to sell more. Why? Because its price is less. So it will try to sell cheaper product and more products to earn more revenue. Ferrari will go for less sales. Its sales will be very limited, but very high price. When you buy a Ferrari, you are paying through your nose, right? 4 crore, 5 crore, आराम से एक cost होगा. So what they do? Less sales, but at a higher price. Both will give you the revenue. So firms use two strategies. Ideally, firm wants more sales and more price. But that's not possible in a competitive market. So you see, if any one of these two will change, the price will change or the total revenue, total sale will change, the revenue also will change. Let us say a pen is produced by a firm and the cost of the pen is 50 rupees. So if the firm sells 100 pens, their revenue is 5,000 rupees. So total revenue of the firm will be equal to total units sold, means the quantity of units sold, Q, and the price of each unit, that is P. So total revenue TR is equal to Q into P. In this case, quantity is 100 units, price is 50 rupees. So total revenue is 5,000 rupees. And now you see, if the sale of the commodity, the quantity of commodity will increase or decrease, or if the price of the commodity increase or decrease, the revenue of the change or revenue of the firm also will increase or decrease likewise, right? Likewise means if the quantity increases, revenue increases, price increases, revenue increases, and vice versa also. Okay, so this is the concept of total revenue. Now average revenues, very simple. We find the average revenue by dividing total revenue to total sales. So average revenue is total revenue upon total sales. So AR, that's average revenue, is TR, that's total revenue, upon Q. Q is the quantity of units sold. No, Q up here. This is Q, the quantity of units sold. So total revenue upon the number of units sold gives the average revenue. In that earlier case, our total revenue was 5,000 units, right? We sold 5,000 rupees, sorry. We sold 100 units. So average revenue was 5,000 upon 100, that is 50. Yeah, that is 50, okay? So if you sell 1,000 units and your revenue is 50,000 rupees, your still average revenue is again 50. So revenue per unit of pen is called the average revenue. Now normally if the firm sells all units of commodity at same price, like in this case this firm is selling at 50 rupees only. If you buy 1 unit, price 50. If you buy 100 units, price 50. If you buy 1,000 units, price 50. Then the average revenue and the price per unit are same. There's no change, right? Okay, so the average revenue is equal to the price per unit. Means the average revenue will equal to the selling price per unit, right? But if the price and average revenue are equal, then for producer the demand curve and revenue curve are equal, right? So if the price and the average revenue are equal, then for producer it is the demand curve and also the average revenue curve. Demand curve shows on different price how many commodities consumer is ready to purchase. Average revenue curve shows the average revenue of a producer with the sale of the commodity. Yeah? So demand curve shows at what price how many units the consumer is willing to buy. So demand curve is from the consumer's point of view, and average revenue curve shows the average revenue obtained by the producer with the sale of commodity. So in short, we remember that average revenue by the angle of producer is also price of consumer angle. Means, right, you see, average revenue is from the angle of the producer and demand curve is from the angle of the consumer. If they are equal, the number of units sold are equal, means the price is equal for every number of units sold, then the average revenue and the demand curve are equal. Just go back to the demand curve and think about what I just said. Now let's see the last type of revenue, the marginal revenue. Now again we know about marginal. Marginal means one more, right? So the income of per unit sale is average revenue, right? Now we say, okay, per unit, if you sell 100 units, you get total revenue. What is the revenue of 1 unit? That is called average revenue. Whereas marginal revenue is the revenue from the sale of 1 additional unit. Meaning, marginal revenue is the change in total revenue which results from the sale of 1 more unit of a commodity. Let's take an example. Now our firm sells 1000 units of pen and it gets 50,000 rupees income. Its average revenue will be 50,000 upon 1000, that is 50 rupees, right? But now let us say the firm sells 1001 unit, yani 1 more unit. See, this 1 more unit it sells, and now its total revenue becomes 50,045. It means वो 1001 वो लास्ट जो यूनिट बेचा वो कितने में बेचा होगा? 45 रुपीज में बेचा होगा ना. सी 1000 यूनिट 50,000 में बेचे, 1001 यूनिट 50,045 में बेचा, यानी वो लास्ट जो यूनिट था उसका रेवेन्यू 45 रुपीज आया. So marginal revenue is the change in the total revenue on account of sale of an additional unit of output. So we can say MR, that's marginal revenue of n unit, nth unit, that is equal to revenue of n units minus revenue of n minus 1 unit. यानी ये 1001 यूनिट का मार्जिनल रेवेन्यू कितना हुआ? तो 1001 यूनिट का रेवेन्यू माइनस 1000 यूनिट का रेवेन्यू. Okay, so in this case it is 45 rupees. So that is marginal revenue. यानी वो लास्ट यूनिट बेचने का खर्चा कितना हुआ, या आवक, सॉरी, बेचने का आवक कितना हुआ, दैट इज कॉल्ड मार्जिनल रेवेन्यू. नाउ ये इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज हम कई बार क्या करते हैं कि व्हेन यू गो टू अ शॉप, यू टेल, लेट्स से मैं एक व्यापारी हूँ और मुझे मास्क खरीदने मेरी दुकान में बेचने के लिए, तो मैं वो मास्क वाला एक टेलर है उसको मैं कांटेक्ट करता हूँ और उसको बोलता हूँ कि भाई मुझे 50 मास्क चाहिए, तो कितने में देगा मुझे? तो वो बोलेगा 50 मास्क, एक मास्क का 20 रुपये लूँगा आपसे. सो 20 रुपीज पर मास्क. नाउ यू आस्क दैट पर्सन के ओके इफ आई बाय 100 यूनिट्स, how much will you pay sell me for per unit? So that person will say, if you buy 100 at one go, then I'll not take 20, I'll take 19 rupees from you. Okay, then you say, okay, if I buy 500 units from you, so that tailor will say, 500 units, good business for me. Okay, I'll sell you at 17 rupees per unit. So what is happening now? We are getting at a cheaper rate. Now look at the tailor's angle. If he's selling till 50 units, he is getting only 20 rupees per, he is getting revenue of 20 rupees per unit. But the moment we are giving him an order for 100 units, he is selling at 19 rupees. So now see, his marginal revenue per unit is now 1 rupees less. And if I tell him, if I buy 500 units from you, what will you sell me for? So he will say, see, till 100 units I'll take 19 rupees. From 101 to 500, I will charge you 17 rupees. So now you see, he is getting less now. He is now getting only 17 rupees per unit from 101st unit. So you see friends, the revenue is changing. The marginal revenue is changing. Per unit revenue is getting less as the amount of units are more. So that is why it is very important. Why? Because see, if the tailor is making the mask in 15 rupees, he can never sell beyond less than 15 or even at 15. If he sells at 15 rupees, he is going to make no profit. तो और सब काम बेकार हो गया उसका. And if he is selling at 14 rupees, तो लॉस है ना. तो इफ आई टेल हिम 1 लाख यूनिट दे दो मुझे मास्क के, लेकिन मैं 14 रुपया दूंगा, तो वो नहीं दे पाएगा ना, बिकॉज उसको तो 15 में पड़ रहा है ना वो चीज़. 14 में तो लॉस होगा, वो 15 में भी नहीं देगा मुझे, बिकॉज उसको कोई प्रॉफिट नहीं है इसमें. So that is why marginal revenue is very important, because the man should know, the producer should know कि कितना least price है selling price. right? Which is the least revenue I can get, which will make me profitable. And the more the units, you see, हमने आगे देखा था total revenue is measured by units sold into price of commodity. Now see, units मैं करता हूँ units and price. अगर मैंने यूनिट्स बढ़ाया और प्राइस जैसे जैसे यूनिट्स डबल बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ाया एंड प्राइस थोड़ा कम किया तो भी मैं प्रॉफिट कमा रहा हूँ. यानी जितना यूनिट मैं बढ़ाऊंगा और प्राइस थोड़ा कम करूंगा तो भी मेरा टोटल रेवेन्यू तो बढ़ ही रहा है ना. तो फर्म ऐसा सोचता है कि हाउ कैन आई सेल मोर एंड मोर यूनिट्स एट ओके डिसेंट लेस प्राइस टू इंक्रीज माई रेवेन्यू, बिकॉज द मोर माई रेवेन्यू द मोर माई प्रॉफिट मार्जिन और मोर अल्टीमेट प्रॉफिट्स आई एम गोइंग टू मेक. पर यूनिट उसका प्रॉफिट भले कम होगा लेकिन ज़्यादा यूनिट बेचेगा और प्रॉफिट ज़्यादा कमाएगा. लाइक मारुति वाला, मारुति क्या करेगा, प्राइस कम है, लेट से मारुति एक कार पे सिर्फ 20,000 कमाता है मान लो, लेकिन अगर वो 1,00,000 कार बेचता है तो भी वो बहुत प्रॉफिट कमा रहा है ना. एंड फरारी अगर लेट से एक कार पे उसको 1 करोड़ प्रॉफिट मिलता है लेकिन वो 1,000 कार ही बेचता है तो उसका प्रॉफिट इतना ही हुआ. जिसे ना कि मोर सेल्स एट लेस प्रॉफिट मार्जिन ऑल्सो विल गिव यू गुड इनफ प्रॉफिट. तो देयर टू डिफरेंट स्ट्रेटेजीज मार्केट में. अब देखो एप्पल का आईफोन महंगा होगा तो कम लोग लेंगे लेकिन एप्पल विल मेक गुड प्रॉफिट. एमआई का स्मार्टफोन सस्ता होगा तो ज़्यादा लोग लेंगे. अब एप्पल वाले जो आईफोन है उसका प्रॉफिट मार्जिन ज़्यादा होगा, पर यूनिट प्रॉफिट ज़्यादा होगा एप्पल को, लेकिन उसका सेल्स कम है ना. एंड एमआई का प्रॉफिट मार्जिन कम होगा पर यूनिट लेकिन सेल्स ज़्यादा है. अल्टीमेटली दोनों प्रॉफिट कमा रहे हैं ना. सो ये आपको ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा. दिस कॉन्सेप्ट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, वी स्टॉप हियर because now we are going to talk of a very different topic now. We are going to compare these three things: the total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue under different type of competitive market. So meet you in the next video. Bye friends.